The Kaaba in Mecca is a major aspect of the Muslim faith for what it represents. So in this episode, I'm going to be exploring 10 surprising and interesting facts about the Kaaba that you may or may not have known. Welcome to another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and let's just jump into it. I got a bunch of things to share about the Kaaba. I'm really excited for this one because I learned a ton doing research for this episode. Starting at number 10, let's talk about Hajj. Now, Hajj is a pilgrimage in Islam that must be performed by Muslims who are capable health-wise as well as financially. Now, this is an essential part for a Muslim's life that needs to be completed once in a lifetime. Now, mostly the Hajj ritual is performed as part of an obligatory pillar of Islam, and the Kaaba is at the epicenter of the city of Mecca. Building is at the center of Islam's most important mosque, the Great Mosque of Mecca. So both men and women, they dress in white clothing, which is known as ihram, during Hajj. Now, this symbolizes the state of purity that they're entering. Also, the Kaaba is sometimes called the House of Allah. The Quran states that the Kaaba was the first ever house of worship for Muslims, and guess what? It was also built on instructions directly by Allah by the prophets Ibrahim and his son Ismail. So it goes way back, even before the time of the Prophet Muhammad. But speaking of that, actually, you see the Kaaba originally? Now, guys, speaking of that, actually, the Kaaba being built way back, did you know that the Kaaba that we see today is not exactly the same Kaaba as was constructed by the prophets Ibrahim and Ismail? So from time to time, the Kaaba needed to be rebuilt after natural disasters as well as man-made disasters. There was also a major reconstruction during the life of the Prophet Muhammad. Actually, as a matter of fact, it was done before he even became a prophet. Since then, there has been an average of one major reconstruction that's done every century. Now, the last renovation, however, took place back in the year 1996, and this one was intense. It was extremely thorough, and it led to the replacement of many of the stones, as well as re-strengthening the foundations and adding in a new entire roof. So it's likely that the next reconstruction won't actually be done or needed for centuries to come. And this is because modern building techniques and materials ensure that the Kaaba is as secure as it has ever been. So now most times when we see the Kaaba, it looks like this. You see that? It's all black and it has a gold band going around it. But did you know that the Kaaba actually used to be multicolored? Yeah, no, I didn't either. And you know, this tradition of the Kaaba being black actually seems to have started at the time of Abbasids, and it was said that their household color was black. And before that, the Kaaba was covered in multiple colors, including green, red, and even white. Also, another interesting fact is, according to Islamic tradition, there are actually two Kaabas. The Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur means frequented house, or the house which is situated on the seventh heaven is directly above the Kaaba on earth. And it's, according to Muslim beliefs, the angels make tawaf, which is going around the Kaaba 7 times, similar to when Hajj is performed or Umrah is performed. And by the way, Umrah is different from Hajj because Hajj has specific times that it's conducted, but Umrah can be done any time of the year. So apparently this Kaaba on earth is a replica of the Kaaba in the 7th heaven. Angels perform prayers there, and every single day it's said that 70,000 angels visit it. Now, this will continue up until the day of resurrection. All right, guys, so we reach halfway in this episode about facts about the Kaaba. I know, mind-blowing stuff, right? But before I continue with the last 5 facts, if you're enjoying this episode so far, you're finding it interesting, you're learning something new, or you're just refreshing what you already knew, be sure to leave a like on this episode. It lets us know which FTD Facts episodes you want to see more of. And by the way, if you're a newcomer here to FTD Facts, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell because we post videos daily, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of them. So come back tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after that to keep on learning with us. All right, guys, so moving on to fact number 5. So at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, each and every aspect to do with the rites of Hajj was actually in the hands of different subgroups of the Quraysh tribe. And now every one of these would eventually lose control of the guardianship of a particular rite except for one. Now, on the conquest of Mecca, the Prophet Muhammad was given the keys to the Kaaba, and instead of keeping it in his own possession, he returned them back to Usman ibn Talha of the Bani Shaiba family. Now, they had been the traditional key keepers of the Kaaba for centuries, and the Prophet Muhammad confirmed them as being the ones to fit that role up until the end of time by saying these words: "Take it, O Bani Talha, eternally up to the day of resurrection, and it will not be taken from you unless by an unjust, oppressive tyrant." Now, what many people don't know is that one of the major problems with the Kaaba was that it was situated at the bottom of a valley, and when rain used to fall, the valleys actually used to flood. So this was not an uncommon occurrence in Mecca, but it was the cause of a lot of trouble before the days of flood control systems as well as modern sewage systems were put in place. So for days on end, the Kaaba would actually be submerged in water. But it did not stop the Muslims from performing the tawaf. They literally started swimming around the Kaaba. That's dedication right there. So you guys know how the Kaaba looks. We've put up many pictures and clips of it already. But did you know that it was actually never meant to be a cube? See, the original dimensions of the Kaaba included the semicircle area known as the Hajar Ismail, and that's actually not supposed to be a cube shape. So when the Kaaba was actually rebuilt just a few years before the Prophet Muhammad received his first revelation, the Quraysh tribe agreed to only use income from pure sources to complete the rebuilding. And that meant that no money from gambling or stealing or prostitution or anything like that could be used. But you know, the crazy thing was that a lot of the money that they had, there wasn't enough of it that was untainted to be used to rebuild the Kaaba to its original size and shape. So they had to just use the money and rebuild it the best they could, as close to the original shape as possible. Now, another fascinating aspect of the Kaaba is that inside of it, there's actually a place where the Prophet Muhammad is said to have prayed. The inside of the Kaaba is actually infused with a mix of musk and authentic sandalwood perfumes, and they've been reapplied throughout the years. Floors of the Kaaba are made of white marble framed by 4-meter high rosewood marble running parallel to the walls. Now, at the inner entrance, located in the back of the Kaaba, there's actually this little niche there where the Prophet Muhammad performed his prayers. And this area is actually indicated by different colored marble. And finally, the last surprising and interesting fact related to the Kaaba is the stoning of the devil. What am I talking about? Well, it's part of the annual Islamic Hajj pilgrimage, and during this ritual, Muslim pilgrims actually throw pebbles and stones at 3 walls that were previously pillars, and these walls are called Jamarat in the city of Mina, just east of Mecca. Now, it is one of the series of ritual acts that must be performed in a Hajj. It's pretty much a symbolic reenactment of the Prophet Ibrahim's Hajj, where he stoned 3 pillars, and that represented the temptation to disobey God and preserve Ismail, his son. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you in this episode. That was a look at 10 surprising and interesting facts about the Kaaba. Be sure to leave your thoughts and comments down below. Now, before you guys get out of here, I just got to remind you that my social media links are below in the video description section. Also, I'll be leaving you with a related video coming up at the end screen, so once I get out of here, check it out. Definitely don't want to miss it. And yeah, it's been great chatting with you, sharing facts about the Kaaba. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you next time.